No big power is ever thinking of morality as a weapon in human hands to establish peace, as an instrument in human hands to establish peace. So the more we advance in time, the imbalances are increasing, and the basic factor of morality is being ignored more and more than ever before. As I have already demonstrated, what has Gulf War done to us, apart from other things, as it has exploded the myth of justice and morality and this and that. The same situation prevailed vis-a-vis Israeli occupation of Arab territories in '67 war. Large areas were under their occupation for which they had no reason whatsoever to attack, because they were not attacked. They remained under their occupation, and the superpower says it's all right. They have a right to barter land for peace and this and that, and all these modern rubbish jargons were invented by them. So why did not Iraq have a right to barter for peace, some land and so on and so forth? So this is all rubbish. They are basically immoral people, and they are not turning to religion. They are turning further away from religion. It is said power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. So the new world which we are entering is that of absolute corruption, because one of the powers of the world has become absolute power. And this absolute power is going to corrupt American minds like it never corrupted them before. Previously, of course, many evils spread from America. But now in this new situation, we can do whatever we please. They are going to spread injustice all over the world. They are going to treat other human beings as just third-rate animals. They must listen to them and bow to them, or they don't mean anything. To begin with, they will be kind and courteous to Europeans as their equal partners to begin with, or second-rate partners, like they treat the British. But after a while, other jealousies are going to be created in Europe. France is already jealous of England. There is animosity, though subdued, between Germany and England. The greater the Germany is going to emerge economically, more jealous the British would become. Already you can see it. It used to burn Mrs. Thatcher's heart to see Germany develop as a new leader in Europe, and she could not suppress it. One of her second class ministers went toward Germany. He couldn't suppress this, so he expressed his views on Germany and the dangers which are inherent upon the new Europe being led by Germany. There was a hue and cry against this by Germany, and this minister was dismissed by Mrs. Thatcher. He's a very simple person. He had been creating problems even before. So after he was dismissed, what he said, well, look here, I only gave voice to what I heard in the cabinet being discussed. That is the only crime for which I am dismissed. This is exactly what the cabinet used to talk. So this is the world. There is hypocrisy, there is immorality, there is talk of high moral grounds, but basically man is more corrupt today than before. So how can you avoid wars? War is a direct result of this human corruption riding high, hand in hand with power. When this happens, the wars are not far behind. So Hadhrat Khalifa al-Masih, the third caliph, he predicted it not because he was told by God specifically that it's going to happen. He studied prophecies from the Holy Quran, he studied prophecies from the Muslim. He understood the world politics and knew in which direction the world is heading. So putting all things together, he estimated that as things are proceeding, It won't take the world more than 30 years to go into a huge war. That is one way of assessing the possibility of war, through analytically studying the world events today and projecting your inferences into future, and then it's easy for you to see ahead. The second thing, which is far more important and far more certain, is the study of prophecies from the Holy Quran. And I have not a shadow of doubt that in more than one places the Holy Quran has predicted world wars of greater devastation than what we have witnessed. Particularly in Surah Taha, which is immediately after Surah Maryam. The Holy Quran is so clear about this. It declares that, I'll quote, يَسْأَلُونَكَ عَنِ الْجِبَالِ قُلْ يَنْسِفُهَا رَبِّي نَسْفًا فَيَذَرُهَا قَاعًا صَفْصَفًا لَا تَجِدُ فِيهَا عِوَجًا وَلَا أَمْتًا يَوْمَئِذٍ يَتَّبِعُونَ الدَّاعِيَ لَا عِوَجَ لَهُ. That, O Prophet of Allah, they ask you about powers like mountains. The word mountain is mentioned, but later on it is also explained that by mountains we do not mean these material mountains like Mount Everest, the Himalayas and so on, but like great human powers. So it will come within a few verses, it will be explained. But let's begin with the right translation, which is, O Prophet, they ask you about the insurmountable mountains. How will Islam conquer these mountains? How will Islam spread these powers who are too huge, too big for human access to destroy them or to overcome them? قُلْ يَنْسِفُهَا رَبِّي نَسْفًا. You say we are too weak. You, and that is to say Prophet Muhammad and his followers, they have no power to destroy them. But Allah will destroy them. يَنْسِفُهَا رَبِّي نَسْفًا, and destroy them so completely that يَذَرُهَا قَاعًا صَفْصَفًا, that He will level these mountains like vast expanses of desert. لَا تَرَى فِيهَا عِوَجًا وَلَا أَمْتًا, and they will be so leveled out that you will not see any undulating surfaces there, rising and falling. Just plain and humble to earth. ثُمَّ يَوْمَئِذٍ يَتَّبِعُونَ الدَّاعِيَ. That will be the age when they will follow this Prophet, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who has no crookedness about him. Now, if God was speaking of these mountains, how could He refer to them as human beings? After these mountains are leveled, the conclusion which is drawn is, then these mountains will follow this Prophet who has no crookedness about him. This is a beautiful verse, very rich in oratory and all the qualities of excellent language, because it says why they will not follow, they are not following, why, unless they are leveled by God, they will be unable to follow, because they are crooked and the Holy Prophet is straight. A crooked thing cannot pass through the straight thing unless it is straightened. So their prides will be broken. It doesn't mean that the entire people will be destroyed. There is another inference one can safely draw. Their powers will be broken, but their populace will not be destroyed. If the populace were to be destroyed, then who would follow anybody anyway? So that means the great powers are to be broken. Now here it is not said how, but elsewhere it is mentioned. Not in one place, in many places. So putting these things together, these cross-references from the Holy Quran, one can very clearly draw the scenario that these powers will be destroyed by each other. And so totally that no pride will be left at all after the wars are over. they will be completely humbled.